What does cold water swimming have to do with thriving in the world of business? Well, today my guest is Georgina Smith, and she has this habit of swimming with the most weird and wonderful creatures. Whether it's light or dark, she's willing to go there. And I'm really looking forward to chatting to her today to see, is there something to take away from all of this adventurous cold water swimming that she does, and all of these amazing feats that she tries and accomplish and do, whether that has an impact on business and the way that she goes about her very busy, I would say, high-profile job in the corporate world. So looking forward to a fantastic episode today, full of adventure, full of tips, full of takeaways for you. And let's not hold it up. Let's get the show started. Good morning. Warm welcome back. Another week, another episode. Today's episode 33 of season 5. So looking forward to an amazing discussion today. You all know Georgina Smith. She's been on many of our podcasts before, as well as a regular speaker at our events and so on. But today I'm going to talk to her in a little bit of a different capacity. Today it's a lot more about Georgina and all of the amazing things that she does in the ocean. And all of the amazing things she's accomplished, but also there's some amazing things that she's tackling that's coming up. So I really want to talk to her about that. And what is the impact of all of this? I want to say cool stuff, but also I think hair-raising stuff, challenging stuff. I use the word stuff a lot, but all of these things are really amazing. And I want to know whether this has had a significant impact on the way that she does business, the success that she's experienced. Because the thing about Georgina that you need to know is that she doesn't come from financial services originally. She's been all over the place doing lots of other things before she came here. And she's had a fantastic impact. And amongst that, also moving countries in the process to come and do all of this cool stuff. So really looking forward to talk to her today. And trust me, you want a notebook. You want to participate in the conversation because this is going to be a life-changing one today. So looking forward to that. Then, of course, Nikki is back. There must be a lot of news because Nikki is back every week. And if it's not Nikki, it's Leilani. And so the news never stops. So I'm looking forward to that. And we have Kim here. Kim is also today going to talk a little bit about values and the importance of values, and particularly also with your clients. So looking forward to that. Kobus is here all the way from over the seas, and he's going to be talking about, if you don't know me by now, I'm full of jokes and stuff, so I can speak English, I promise. But Kobus is here today, and Kobus is going to talk about how physical habits can help you become a stronger advisor. We're going to talk about that. I've got some quick announcements, and of course, then we get into the amazing conversation with Georgina. And again, get your notebooks. It's important. Before we do all of this, let me say a warm good morning to everyone who's here. Thank you very much for saying hi. Please do say hi in the chat. I'm also going to give away books today, so don't worry, we're doing that as well. So we've got David Kopp. Good morning, David. Thank you for saying hi. Hi, Aloise. Nice to see you. Warm welcome, Mr. Terence Tobin. Good morning, Terence. Welcome. Nice to see you. Johan, good morning. Nice to see you as well. Nico van Wyk, good morning. Goeiemorgen, Nico. Wat gaan goed. Elna, good morning. Nice to see you. We've got Andre Boer. Nice to see you also, Andre. I still remember our lunch a few weeks ago, so it was great to meet you in person. So thank you very much for being here. Diana, good morning. Nice to see you as well. And then Willem Bester, goeiemorgen. Bolly Boheng back again. Good morning, Dumelang. Nice to see you. Thank you very much for saying hi. Razan, good morning. Nice to see you as well. It's nice to see everyone. I just love all you guys. Frank, good morning. Thank you for saying hi. Francis, goeiemorgen. Hope it's going well all the way in Benoni. Sherelle, good morning. Nice to see you as well. Vuledzani, good morning, goeiemorgen. Hope you are doing fantastically well. Kavendra, it's been a while. Thank you very much for saying hi. Good morning. Ferry, good morning, goeiemorgen. Thank you for saying hi. Gary Nel, goeiemorgen. Ek hoop dit gaan lekker. Ek weet nou nie of jy in Pretoria of somewhere else is nie, maar good morning. Frank says Georgina is inspiring and courageous. She is a legend. Oh yeah, absolutely. Rafilwe, good morning. Thank you for saying hi. And of course, then Mr. Neil Phillips. Ladies and gents, that's 5 minutes of our lives. Let's get the show started. Here is Nikki with the latest news.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Francois. It has been a busy week at the FSCA, and they have been on a roll with enforcement actions. So let's run through them quickly. The first one is the first report that has been finalized is the investigation into Gundo Wealth Solutions, now known as Private Wealth Insight Pty Limited, or Gundo Wealth is the other name that it goes under. Its appointed representative and key person, Ralium Razwanani, I hope I said that correctly. While this investigation was in respect of breaches of financial sector laws regarding the advice rendered to clients to invest in the VBS Bank. So he was one of those people that helped. I think it was the Polokwane municipality as well as the community schemes ombud services to invest some of their funds and deposits with VBS, which was obviously then missing by the time that VBS was liquidated. The FSCA found this advice to be inappropriate, obviously because it circumvented not just the Public Finance Management Act, but also Treasury regulations. And it was not based on a demonstrable analysis of these clients' risk profiles and due diligence, obviously, and the financial or investment needs. Now, the FSCA has imposed the administrative penalty of 3 million on Razwanani and debarred him for a period of 10 years. So that is the first one. Then they have also imposed an administrative penalty of more than R1 million on Mr. Kabelo Emmanuel Mogale and also debarred him for a period of 10 years. Now, what did Mogale do? He was providing unauthorized financial services through a company called Forex Private Jet Injectors, or Private Jet for short. It was not a juristic person. It was just a scheme. He provided financial advice to clients when he published Forex trade signals via the Telegram platform, and he made recommendations to clients regarding their trades in Forex currency pairs, which are financial products, but he wasn't licensed to do so. So he contravened Section 139(2) of the Financial Sector Regulation Act, also by failing to cooperate with the FSCA during the investigation, as well as being in contravention of having given financial advice when he was not licensed to do so. So be careful of this person. Then the biggest one, I think, of this week, the FSCA has provisionally withdrawn the license of Bankso Pty Limited. The FSCA issued a media statement on the 19th of April informing the public that it was investigating Bankso. And the FSCA had taken this step because it was concerned that there may be risk of harm to clients or the general public if Bankso continued its operations as a FSP. Now, the provisional withdrawal that is standing at this point in time is based on preliminary investigations regarding the activities and its possible association with the immediate Matrix deepfake advertisement. The FSCA is also concerned about the apparent aggressive and pressurized sales techniques used by banks or agents when selling these products to clients, the promises of unrealistic returns, failure to conduct risk and needs analysis, and material losses suffered by clients. Now, in addition to the FSCA withdrawing the license, on the 2nd of October, the FIC then also intervened and placed a hold on 7 of Bankso's bank accounts in terms of Section 34 of the FIC Act. On the 4th of October, Bankso approached the Western Cape High Court for an order lifting the hold on the bank accounts. But on the 8th of October, the court ruled against Bankso. That hold was then maintained. So their bank accounts are frozen at this point in time. The FSCA then also brought the matter to the NPA, and the National Director of Public Prosecution successfully applied for a preservation order of the funds in the bank accounts in terms of Section 38 of the Prevention of Organized Crime Act. So there's quite a lot happening here. Now, if you are not up to date on what the story with Bankso is, go have a look at MoneyWeb. They've done quite a lot of articles and insights and trial and errors to see if they could figure out what was going on. But the short and the long is this company has been linked to numerous deep fake advertisements that is promoting fraudulent investment opportunities. These ads falsely promise returns of up to 300,000 Rand per month on a one-time investment of 4,700 Rand, with fake endorsements from billionaires like Elon Musk and Johan Rupert. And if you look at those videos, it is actually very interesting to see how lifelike it is, but it is obviously deep fake videos. Bankso denied any involvement in these schemes, claiming it was the victim of hackers in the beginning. However, court documents suggest that the platform played an active role in directing investors to its trading services through these misleading ads. And the FSCA's investigation revealed extensive client deposits into Bankso's accounts, totaling nearly 880 million Rand, with more than 1,000 transactions from people depositing 4,700 Rand each. Now, what was very interesting is that MoneyWeb yesterday, after this FSCA withdrawal of the license was confirmed, MoneyWeb actually went in and determined that they are actually still trading. So we'll see what happens over the next few days, and if they actually stop trading, and if they listen to what the FSCA has said. And then just the last comment, there was a Financial Services Tribunal decision that came out in the last week. And it's actually very interesting, and I would suggest that all financial planners who are in practice go and read this. So the case involves a client who was a complainant who received advice from the financial planner on investing 2/3 of retirement savings into guaranteed products. Now, according to the ruling, the client was unhappy with the value of the guaranteed life annuities and claimed from the company to be put in the same financial position as she thought she would have been if her annuities were bought earlier. Now, as you know, annuity rates are determined at certain times, and it can go up or down depending on what happens on that specific day. And this client's contestation was that she was out of pocket because the annuity was bought 3 days after she thought it was, with the resultant annuity rate changes leading to a similar or a smaller monthly payout than she was expecting. She also claimed that the financial advisor bought the 2/3 portion from one company when she was quoted on both. However, this specific financial advisor kept very, very clear notes and made the client sign them at the time. And what then happened is, because of all of this supporting documentation, the tribunal could find that the advisor did advise the client that the annuity rates could change, that it was not guaranteed, and that it would depend on the day that they actually buy in. And the tribunal found that the financial advisor acted in good faith. The contents of these documents, as set out above, this is from the ruling, provide for the fluctuating rates, as well as setting out that the second respondent was not liable for incorrect information which was given in good faith. The two quotes were accepted by the client. So dotting every I, crossing every T may be cumbersome, but it can save your reputation and your job. So have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and see you next week again.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Nikki. Really appreciate it. Yeah, some interesting stories, right? It all comes down to, and many of us are not such great admin people, right? Because we love talking to people. We don't so much love writing. But it's so important that we keep those records. So thank you very much for all the news. Appreciate that. And thanks to the FBI as well. Righty there. Next up, we have Kim Potgieter. And today, Kim in Wellbeing and Money is talking about values.
Morning, Francois, and morning, everybody. Nikki, listening to you, I must say, I think what I'm talking about is values. And if a lot of those people that were doing those unscrupulous things were working according to good values, potentially they wouldn't be getting into the trouble they are, and they wouldn't be doing things that they are doing. So, why do I want to talk about values? This is something that I bring up with every single client I see. And maybe today we can just think about our own value system and then think about how would this work if we were doing it with our clients. Now, for me personally, I did this exercise many times. I mean, I think about the work that I've done and the courses I go on. If I've been to, I work at Elder Academy with Chip Conley, he did a values exercise. When I went to Brené Brown, they did a values exercise. And, you often think that everybody just knows what their two highest values are. And I'll tell you in my meetings when I'm with clients, very few people can tell me what their top values are. In fact, when I go, so tell me about your top values, you just get this blank look and people go, oh, please don't, I hope she's not going to make me answer that question. So I have put together an exercise for you all, and Francois is going to share it with a whole lot of values, just different values. And the idea goes like this. Look at the values and in the list, and I've probably given you a good 20 plus values. But the important part is now to go through each one and go, is this value something that resonates with me? Is this value something that resonates with me? And what you do with that list is I encourage you to bring it down to 10. So go and circle your top 10 values to start off with. Once you've got those top 10 values, I'd like you to bring it down to 8. Then I'd like you to bring it down to 6, and then 4, and then 2. Many people go, there were 3 or 4, I just couldn't choose. But what I have seen is it's important to bring them down so that when you've got a big decision to make, you can look at the decision and go, well, if I make that decision, will that be according to my values? And so often if we've got too many, we can't make that decision. So it does take a while. I can't say that I managed to work out my own top 2 values in one session. I probably sat for quite a few months and I tried it out. And how did I feel when I was living according to my values? How did I feel when I wasn't living according to my values? Until I could bring it down. My particular 2 are being authentic. And my second one is always making sure that I can inspire people. So I have that as my guiding lights. And when something comes, I go, am I acting in an authentic way? And actually, I can tell when I'm not. And then secondly, am I doing work that inspires people? And when I'm doing both of those, I'm in my flow, I'm living according to my values, and my decision-making becomes a lot easier. So I encourage you first to start doing it for yourself and to do that exercise. And then to do it with your partner. Always nice to know with your partners. And the other day I was actually in a meeting with clients where they showed me how they'd done it for their entire family. They'd each come with their values, and then they had their value system for the family, making sure that their values were all in line with each other. And I think it's wherever we work, we have maybe values for our companies, but making sure that our personal and our company values are also lined up. So once you're comfortable with it and get comfortable with it first, then try it out with your clients. Go through the exercise with them, maybe give it to them as something they can take home to do, come back and tell you about it. And then for me, that is important that you record it and you keep it so that when you're doing their planning, when you're doing their discussion, you're making sure at all times that you're aware of what their values are and you're not giving them advice that would be contradictory to their values. And if you are challenging their values, you say to them, I'm taking your values into account, but I want you to think a little bit differently about something. So I wish you all a good weekend and a weekend where your values are on a line. And I hope you found the exercise as helpful as I've found in my life. And thank you, Francois, for inviting me on the show.
Thank you very much, Kim. Yeah, so I did add the link to the description on the YouTube below somewhere on here. So if you can't see it, just refresh and you'll be able to see the link and you can download that values exercise. So go and enjoy that and take full benefit from or advantage rather from using this. Right. So next up we have Kobus and Kobus today is talking about how some physical habits can help you become a stronger advisor.
Everyone. Today I want to touch on something slightly different from the usual advisor path strategies we discuss. I want to share how pushing our physical limits can directly fuel our business success. I'm speaking from personal experience as I'm currently taking on a 28-day running challenge while working from anywhere in New Zealand. As advisors, our daily focus is often on client needs, financial planning, and meeting expectations. But what if the key to pushing those boundaries lies not just in our work, but in challenging ourselves physically? Let me tell you, this running challenge hasn't been easy. Every morning, I set out for a run, regardless of the weather, and it's very cold early in the morning and rainy at the moment. There are times when I just don't feel like doing it. But the commitment I've made to this challenge mirrors the discipline we need in our profession. There are always moments when we feel overwhelmed or uncomfortable, but that's when growth really happens. It's about showing up even when you don't want to, because that's where success is built. Pushing physical limits helps build resilience, a quality we all need in our profession. Think about it. We're constantly facing market fluctuations, difficult client conversations, and unexpected challenges in our roles as advisors. In many ways, running those extra miles or pushing through a tough workout is no different from managing a challenging client portfolio or delivering bad news to a client. Both require the same level of mental toughness and the ability to persevere through discomfort. The most interesting thing I've noticed is how this physical challenge is sharpening my mental clarity. When I'm out there running along the stunning landscapes of New Zealand, it gives time to reflect, think, and recharge. It's an opportunity to process ideas differently and gain fresh perspectives. Physical activity isn't just about fitness, but also about creating space for new ideas and solutions to emerge, which is crucial when running a business or managing client relationships. Some of my best professional breakthroughs have come while I've been on a run through different parts of the world. What's more, these running challenges has made me more consistent. Just like the markets or client situations, not every day is perfect, but showing up consistently is what matters most. In business, we also need to be there for our clients, especially when they're going through life happens moments. Consistency builds trust, and trust is the cornerstone of every strong advisor-client relationship. Building this running habit has reminded me that consistency is what differentiates great advisors from average ones. Now, I'm not saying everyone needs to commit to a 28-day running challenge in different countries of the world. But what I am saying is that we should all seek out ways to push our physical boundaries. Maybe for you it's hiking, gymming, cycling, or like Georgina, swimming in cold water. The point is to step outside your comfort zone, because that's when growth, both personal and professionally, happens. When you challenge yourself physically, you begin to realize that you can achieve much more than you thought possible. The mindset naturally translates into business. You'll find that the same endurance you develop while pushing your physical limits will show up when you face with tough client negotiations, meeting demanding targets, or simply handling the ups and downs of running a practice. The qualities that make a great advisor, resilience, discipline, and determination, are all strengthened when we push ourselves physically. Clients look to us for confidence and leadership, especially during uncertain times. By consistently challenging ourselves, we build the strength and confidence that not only benefits us personally, but also radiates through our professional interactions. So here's my challenge to all of us. Find a way to push your physical limits. Whether it's a new fitness routine, setting a daily step goal, or trying out the physical challenge like my 28-day running journey here in New Zealand, just do it. By doing so, you'll not only improve your physical health, but also sharpen your mind, build resilience, and strengthen your ability to succeed in business. Remember that the physical challenge we embrace are not just about building stronger bodies, they're about building stronger minds and businesses. When we push our physical limits, we elevate every other aspect of our lives, including how we show up for our clients and our careers. Thank you, and back to you, Francois.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Kobus. That was a brilliant segment. Thank you so much. And good luck. I've been seeing on Instagram the running and all the good stuff. So keep going. So next up, just some two very, very quick announcements before I get into conversation with Georgina. So obviously, first things first, just move this thing out of the way. So first things first, obviously you are anxiously waiting for the hashtag for today. I'm just going to make it easy. I'm going to keep it as hashtag Playbook. So if you comment hashtag Playbook here during the live show, you will automatically be entered into a draw to win the Financial Advisor Playbook. But also we're going to do a second draw where you can choose one of Kobus's 4 books, and Kobus will either send that off to you or set up a coffee session with you. Your choice, what you want to do, but we'll do that. When you win today, we send you a short little link that you just need to complete your details so we know where to send it. You also, if you're here in Cape Town, you also have the opportunity to have coffee with me if that's what you choose here in Somerset West. So you're more than welcome. Talking about the book is available on Takealot. You can get it. This is the last week that the price is going to be 195 Rand. Next week, it's going up to 295 Rand. So if you don't have a copy for you or your team, go grab it now because the price is going up to what the normal retail price was going to be from the start. So if you haven't yet, we've had some fantastic testimonials and fantastic just sort of posts on LinkedIn and things of people saying the value that they're getting from this book, and they're only like a quarter of the way in. There's really some fantastic things. 14 professionals that are in practice and that are really good at what they do have come together to write this book. So don't miss out on this. It's not a very thick book, so it's not going to take you years to read. It's literally, you can do this in a weekend probably. But also you want to be making notes, so maybe go a little bit slower. But anyway, for that, that's that. So then let me just take off the hashtag Playbook there for a second. And then we've got Ascend happening on, when is it? On the 5th of November. So Tuesday, the 5th of November is Ascend. So for those of you who don't know what is Ascend, Francois, well, that is our summit that we do once a year. It typically focuses on trends in the profession. This year, we're going to talk about some really cool stuff. So again, well-being is going to feature on the agenda. But also one of the things that we noticed is that when people complete our assessment for the Professional Practice 10.0 scorecard, out of the 5 areas that we measure, marketing is the one that is not, it's the worst of the bunch across the board for everybody. I think it's a small little sliver like this that says, I've got my marketing waxed down. The rest of it is all like, my marketing sucks. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it in the current environment. So we're also going to talk about marketing during this summit. It's just the morning. We start at 8:45 in the morning, 1:15 we are done. Yes, you'll get CPD points. We're waiting for the approval, so I can't tell you how many points yet. And then also there will be recordings available for 2 weeks. And if you watch the recordings, you can still earn your CPD. But I know it's not about the CPD for you. So go get your tickets. It's available right now. There's also a special code that we made available via our email that you can use to get 20% off the price. And also you might see some stuff come through from sponsors as well that might also offer you a bit of a discount. So come and join us. It's really going to be worth it. It's live, it's virtual, happening. It's going to be fantastic with some great panel discussions, one on the hybrid advisory models. We've got another one where I want to talk about lifestyle financial planning versus financial advice. So it's going to be an interesting one. So looking forward to that. And a few other things that we're going to be talking about. We're also going to see beyond the CFP certification, what happens after that. That used to be the thing to get to. Now it's sort of, you need to start there. And then what do you build on top of that? So we're going to delve into that a little bit. So there's some really valuable stuff that we're going to do. So come and join us for Ascend. The links are down below. Otherwise, just visit the website, propulsion.co.za, go to events, and you'll see Ascend there, and you'll find all the information. You can book your tickets. If you're a Propulsion member, you attend for free. So then you need to go to the Propulsion platform, log in, and go to Ascend, and then you will find your special code and your special link where you need to go and register for this event. Alrighty, ladies and gents, that's it. Let me get into the conversation with Georgina. Georgina, you're like an old friend. Welcome back. Nice to see you this morning.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Francois. I really appreciate it. And well done with that Ascend. I'm looking forward to being one of the panelists on that.
Looking forward to that.
That's morning. So I think that's going to be a really great morning.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Let's not talk about Ascend. Otherwise, I'm going to hijack your conversation, right? But thank you very much. Georgina, I'm really, really keen. Since I gotten to know you, I became aware of the fact that you swim. There's somebody else that also swims that I know about, Ryan Strumrud. He was on our show way back in season 1. And then I thought he's the only guy. And then I heard but there's this lady called Georgina who does very interesting things. And it seems to be a very, obviously not a very, but it's a significant part of your life. I always want to say it's who you are. So how did you first get into this whole thing around, it's a challenging activity. So how did you get into it?
Well, so I know Ryan. Ryan and I swim in the same pool just by coincidence. So quite often I'm in the lane next door to Ryan. He does go a bit faster than me, so I just wave him on. But how did I get into swimming? So as I think you know, but maybe our audience doesn't, I came and arrived in South Africa in 2015. And when you arrive in a new country, anyone that's moved country, and many South Africans have, that first year can be quite lonely. You're thinking, gosh, how do I make friends? And I've always been reasonably physically active, and there's a history of rugby for me. And I thought, well, I'll go to the gym and see if I can meet people there. And I met the swim coach, and he said, let's we run this swim squad. Why don't you join? And I thought, what a great way to meet people. And so I joined the swim squad. I wasn't a terribly good swimmer. Anyone that's grown up in the UK will know that the Brits aren't natural swimmers. Yes, we do quite well in the Olympics, but other than that, the average person is nowhere near as proficient at swimming as South Africans. So pretty much I got in the pool and, just did my best. My background was pretty much school swimming and collecting bricks off the bottom of the pool, which is what tends to happen in the UK for some reason. I don't really know why. Anyway, so got meeting some really interesting and wonderful people. And one of them, a dear friend, no longer with us, called Craig, he said to me, and he used to, funny enough, be the guy who organised the Robben Island swim when it was done on one particular day in the year. He said, George, you're missing out on so much that South Africa has to offer. You really need to get in the open water. And obviously, as any normal and natural fear-finding person would be, I was quite nervous because I envisaged there being sharks behind every rock. I'd obviously heard all the stories about old women being eaten by great whites and only their swimming cap was found. And, the Cape is riddled with those stories. So after a lot of coaxing, I was enticed to swim at Fishhook behind the nets. So there's nets there that keep you safe. There's quite large holes in the net, so I'm not really sure how safe I felt. And I'm not going to lie, I was petrified, absolutely petrified. I probably did that for a few goes, and gradually it just sort of grew. And there were a few of us back then. Open water swimming wasn't massive. It's grown enormously over the last few years. And the few of us really just kind of gradually, and we did it together. We were all in the same place. We were all quite fearful, and the few of us just gradually pushed the boundaries. And before you know it, you're sort of swimming 1.5 K or 2K, and you're seeing wonderful fish. You're seeing the wonderful wildlife that we have around these shores, and that was really the start. And it was just a way to connect with people, to be in nature, to completely switch off. There's no headphones, there's nothing that can distract you, and really just immerse yourself in that feeling of tranquility, whilst also being a bit chilly as well. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then lockdown happened, my goodness, and we were banned from all the beaches, and that was disastrous. And somebody phoned me on it was actually around my birthday, which is 21st July. So they phoned me and they said, George, we've just come out of lockdown, I know, but actually the weather window for swimming around Cape Point has opened. Would you be interested in swimming it? At Cape Point, swimming around Cape Point, you go from DS Beach to Buffels Beach, and it's about 8 kilometers. I'd never swum anything like that before. I was incredibly anxious about it. And this person said to me, they said, George, what's the worst that can happen? You just get on the boat, because there's obviously a boat that supports you. And the weather window only opens really quite rarely, probably about once or twice a year, because you've really got it. I mean, around Cape Point, if you can imagine, it's a bit like a washing machine. And so you're looking for flat waters, you're looking for warm waters, you're looking for decent sunshine, you're looking for all of these things to line up. So I said yes. And that was the start of it. The weather window hadn't opened, by the way. It was a complete washing machine. It was hideous. But we did it. I did this 8K swim, and it was my first big swim under my belt, and that was me hooked. And following on from there was Robin Islands and all sorts of things.
Yeah, I love it. Like, I can just stand here and listen to you all morning. I don't even have to ask anything. It's just tell me your story, Georgina. It's let me just crack a little joke just for a second. Like, I thought it was just the roads that had potholes in them. I did not imagine that the nets in the sea would also have some potholes.
Oh no,
but,
there's big holes. If you think you're safe behind fishing nets, you're not safe.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, obviously, a big question for me would be like, I mean, when you start off with this and you're here in the middle. I mean, you've seen the movies, you've seen like, it's hectic. You don't know what's swimming underneath you, around you, none of that stuff, and you're fearful. And then you go on and on and on. You've done this plenty of times. You've done world, what do you call, like the Guinness World Records stuff that you've done, which we'll talk about. But do you still get fearful when you go in? Or is it now just, it's almost like I imagined, like last week I was speaking at a conference. I got on stage, I spoke, I got off, and I thought, like, I wasn't nervous once. So do you get to that point where these things don't bother you anymore? You're still very aware, but you don't overthink it so that you get that fearful? Or is it every time you go into a new area of the ocean that maybe you feel like, just talk to me about the fear component of this and what you feel every time that you do this?
Yeah, isn't it funny how nature has this wonderful way of keeping you in check every so often? Just when you think you're relaxed and you've got this thing licked, it comes and slaps you in the face. And as Mike Tyson, I think it was, said, everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face, and it's just the same in swimming. There's always fear, and because if it goes wrong in the sea, it goes wrong very, very quickly. And I can think of a few instances where, and particularly one in Noordhoek, where I live, where I didn't think I was going to come out alive. And that was not about wildlife. That was just about getting it wrong in the conditions. It was a situation where I was a proficient swimmer. I was with 5 other people. That's always one of the rules. You must buddy up. I was with 5 other people. And somehow I just separated myself from the group a little bit, and we were behind the break, and somehow I drifted inshore a little bit. And a gentleman called Matt, shouted to me, he said, "George, wave." And this rogue wave, to me, it looked like it was 3 stories high, but I'm sure it wasn't quite that big. But literally, it was a massive wave that was going to break on top of me, and it did. And you only get that half a breath, and then you're down, and then you're rolling, and you can't get up. You're being pushed down. The waves there are really, really powerful. and you can see the surface, but you just can't get to it. And the fear is huge. And suddenly you come up for breath, and waves come in sets. So you know there's another one coming very quickly, and you get another half a breath, and then you go down again. And that's when you start to think, my God, this might be the end. Weirdly enough, through the back of the wave, my friends, my buddies saw that I was battling, and through the back of the wave, I felt this hand grab me and pull me out. And it was probably one of the scariest experiences I've had in the sea. And I don't actually swim in Nordic very often now for exactly that reason. So yeah, there's definitely a fear thing. In terms of wildlife, wildlife is interesting because like last weekend, as you know, I'm training for a very big event right now. So last weekend I had to do an 8K swim. I asked my coach to come along with me and be on the SUP alongside me, and I was actually quite frustrated because all I could see was a few fish and a bit of kelp, and there really wasn't anything else. But my coach was really not taking me in a straight line. And at the end of it, he said, "Do you realise what you missed?" And I said, "No." He said, "George, there were whales about 50 meters away from us. There were masses of bait balls, and of course, when you see a bait ball, which is a huge cloud of fish." There's usually other things eating the bait ball, which can be troublesome for us as swimmers. So all of that stuff is going on around you, and because I had someone with me, I was able to avoid it all. In terms of actually me seeing wildlife, I've seen some pretty cool stuff. One of the most memorable encounters was at Simonstown, and it was a day when the visibility in the ocean was so poor. And really, you could only see probably a meter in front of you. It was just one of those days. And I was swimming with 4 people and swimming along, and someone shouted that there were whales. And they looked at about 50 meters out, so we weren't too worried. And we weren't that far offshore. So, but obviously they're big creatures and could do you some damage. So you do sort of take notice, but I wasn't too worried. Swimming along again, there seems to be a regular of me, but I separated myself from the group a little bit, and I turned my head to the side and I see a very big eye looking at me. And of course you sort of come up and come for breath, and you look at what's looking at you, and it was this calf, probably about 4 meters long, so still pretty big. And literally he was just playing and swam underneath me, swam the other side of me. Obviously, I'm now looking for the mum, thinking I really don't want to get between the calf and the mother. But that was one of the most memorable experiences, just a magical experience to swim so close with whales. And then great whites, yeah, I've seen a couple. One particular swim, I was swimming from Nordic to Hout Bay, in incredibly cold water, and when the water's so cold, and I don't swim in a wetsuit, just a swimming costume and hat and goggles, but when the water's so cold, you can see a long way down. And as I'm sure people who are listening will understand the geography, Chapman's Peak is the peak you swim round, and that just keeps going down, so it's very deep around there. There's no exit points. And the boat hadn't reached us to support us. So we knew we had to do the first couple of Ks on our own. So not the safest of swims. And I look down, and probably about 20 meters or so down, I see a very big grey thing. And it's moving slowly, and it looks pretty chilled. And in my head, I'm thinking, what do I do? Do I tell the others that I'm swimming with that I think there's a shark down there? What use will that be? So I just, and then I thought, well, maybe it's my head playing with me because it's so cold, and maybe I'm just imagining things. But I kept looking down, and he was still there, and but he looked pretty chill. I kind of imagined him like listening to his tunes and just like chilling. I'm absolutely convinced he knew we were there, and they do, especially when the visibility is so good. Not that they have great sight, but he would have known we were there. And I just kept on swimming. And as soon as that boat came, I said, everyone's got to get on that boat because there's a bloody great shark down there somewhere. So yeah, we see it. It's definitely there. And I think a lot of the time we don't see it, but it still knows you're there. So that's definitely kind of always playing in your mind from a fear factor perspective.
So then, is it those great moments? It's almost like it makes me think of golf, right? I used to play golf many years ago, And then you might have a bad day on the golf course and you swear to yourself, I'm never, ever getting back on the course. And then somewhere you hit that fantastic shot that's the shot that makes you come back. So are those, is it those, like, I don't know, how can I say this? Like those magical moments that keeps you going back? Or is there something else that says to Georgina, regardless of the fear, regardless of the risks, this is something that I'm going to overcome. This is something that I can maybe even control my mind around those things and how I frame it for myself. But I mean, at the bottom line, like, what makes you go back and keep facing these things over and over again, even though you know the risks involved?
Yeah, it's a great question, Francois. I think so there's all sorts of things that make you go back. There's achieving big things. And if you're going to achieve big things, which has always been a driving force for me, then you've got to put the work in. And I think Cobus talked about it so brilliantly, talking about discipline and consistency and how important that is. And when you're training for a really big goal, there's no shortcuts. You need to put in the discipline of training. Having said that, for me, the pool is the boring training. There is never a bad sea swim. It is obviously when you nearly die at Noordhoek, that's a pretty bad one. But you still come out and you go, I'm still here, and wow, I survived that. And some people wouldn't have done. So I think swimming in the sea it has so many different facets from, say, swimming in the pool. You're in nature. You're trying to master the cold, and whatever distance you're trying to do, that takes some sort of mental strength to overcome that. You can let your mind go. You can just let it be. You can meditate. It's some people meditate, some people do yoga. I swim. It's just the most freeing thing to be able to do something where you're also challenging yourself physically, working towards a goal, and really kind of making a difference to your own physical fitness, but also your own mental strength as well. I know if I haven't been in the sea for a week, I start to get a little bit edgy, I'd probably say, and it's almost like a reset. Just like people would think about a run, a long run, or a meditation. Those kind of habits, just like Cobus was speaking about, those kind of habits are the kind of habits you find to reset yourself, to think about how you want to behave, how you want to show up, just as Kim was speaking about earlier. So what are your values? How are you gonna handle something? I often come out of a swim with huge clarity about how I want to approach something, how I want to have a certain conversation, how I want to plan something that I'm trying to do, how I perhaps haven't thought of someone's point of view that will be important. So that sort of zen, if you like, that insight, you don't get from sitting at a desk. You get it from freeing your mind and freeing your body and doing this sort of thing. So that's the sort of stuff that keeps me coming back. And then all it takes is someone to say, shall we do X, Y, Z? And I'm a sucker for saying yes. I very rarely say no to big things. And then you're on the train of training for something really big, and then you've got no excuses. So that's what keeps you coming back.
Yeah, I love it. So tell me then, I mean, how does all of this translate into the work that you do? I mean, you've previously done things in many different areas, but then since coming to South Africa, you've been involved, particularly on the innate and stand-up side of things. I know your roles have changed. I can't keep up because you just keep going to the next thing and the next thing. It's amazing. But how does all of this help you do that? Because you do have a very high pressure, lots of responsibility, lots of expectations that come with those roles. So how does this actually play into that? How does it help with that? And are there any aspects of it that are actually, it's maybe not so helpful, but you still do it anyway? So or are there only benefits from combining this physical challenge, mental challenge, and then sort of doing the work that you do?
Yeah, Thanks, Francois. Yeah, I work in a large corporate, and not everyone agrees in large corporates. So you definitely need to have a certain amount of mental strength to really navigate your way through that kind of landscape. My coach has a really wonderful saying about swimming, and he says, "Go slow to go fast." And I use that in all sorts of life events because I think it's so true. Sometimes, in fact, many times, I see organizations like rushing into stuff, tick, 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 tick. And actually, the time you take to go slow, to work out all the stakeholders, to work out what different points of views are, to work out how things are going to work for someone, maybe not for someone else, to actually take that time to assess the ground and take people with you on the journey of whatever that journey will be, I think has been a really memorable lesson for me. So I certainly would say my mantra is very much go slow to go fast. And then having said that, once you go fast, you go. There is there's no time to get off the bus. There's no time to say no. So I think that's the first thing I'd say is the thought, all the thought and the thinking that goes in before the action is so important. And then the next thing I'd say is the digging deep. I was born with a diesel engine. I go slow and I go far. I don't go fast anywhere. It's that mental toughness of staying in the water for 3, 4, 5 hours in that really cold water, and occasionally, sometimes my first Robben Island swim was at 11 degrees, which was hideous. Actually, 2 hours 45 to swim in that sort of temperature means that you really need to go to a very deep place in your head. Now, again, that kind of mental toughness of knowing you're going to get there, but it's just going to take a while and you're just going to have to dig deep. And, that is also something you draw on hugely, because you can also, you can draw on that for your team. There's tough times. And in fact, for me, the tough times always come in training. The actual events themselves, whatever they may be, are usually hard for different reasons, but physically they're not often that hard because the hard stuff is done in training. The hard stuff is those training swims that we do, that 8K I just did last weekend. There's times when you want to bail, but you don't. And the fact that you haven't, and the fact that you then go on and achieve the thing, whatever it is, the goal that you're trying to do, because you've got that grounding of, I know I've done this, I can do this, I've done it in training. We just keep going. And if you translate that to work, launching the Innate platform, a brand new platform in the South African market, when you've got really powerful and strong incumbents already in the market, that's not easy. And inspiring your team to follow you, to do the work that's required, to be disciplined, to be consistent, to completely show up in the way that we want everyone to show up, taking them on the journey, go slow to go fast. All of that, if you wrap all that up with a big bow, now you've got something really powerful. And all of these lessons come from physical activity, whether it's swimming or, in my previous life, whether it's rugby. Interesting that one is very much an individual sport and one is very much a team sport. And being able to move between the two is also quite important as well. So yeah, I think for me in my life, sport has taught me so much. It's taught me about getting on with people, working in a team, being strong mentally and physically, individually, and also, understanding the shadow that you cast as you go into a room as well, and whether you can move the temperature of that room as you walk amongst people. So all of that is so important in everyday life, not just in corporate, but also in everyday life as well.
And just fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing that, Georgina. And it's, I must say, now that you've said it, I must say, when you do walk in a room, that you do change, the whole vibe. When you come on a show, when you speak at an event that we have, the energy is always different. So I must say,
thank you.
Right, it's one thing to say these things. It's quite another thing to actually witness and experience it. And that's what I see with you. You always experience this stuff, which is absolutely brilliant. George, tell me, like you mentioned earlier, that you are training for a massive event, and also I know there's a special reason behind all this stuff. So do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
I'd love to. Thank you, Francois. Yeah. So when you're doing hard stuff, really hard stuff, it helps to have a reason why you're doing the really hard stuff. And the harder the thing, the bigger the reason. So we're doing a big swim. Back in March, these 4 ladies that, or 4 of us, 3 others and me, we did a relay swim from Robin Island to Dasson Island. And that was a 51-kilometer swim. Dasson Island is an island just opposite Azafontein. So if you've ever swum at Azafontein, you'll know it's really, really bloody cold. And that took us 18 hours. And we got a Guinness World Record for it, which was the icing on the cake. So that was brilliant. On the back of that, we said, let's push it further. Let's push that boundary a little bit further. And we talked about doing, and it's a tough swim, a really tough swim. We talked about doing the False Bay crossing twice, so there and back. So that's from Millers Point to Royals and back again. That's a 66-kilometer swim between 4 of us. It's going to take some time, between 20 and 24 hours. Lining up the weather conditions and the sea conditions for that is virtually impossible. So our weather window to do it in runs from the 1st of November to the 31st of January. So we've got to stay fit for 3 months and wait for that opening. So if I have to cancel anyone's appointment short notice, I'm really, really sorry. But I know you guys will understand. So what's wonderful about this swim is what we're doing it for. As I mentioned before, my background is rugby. One of our mermaids, a lady called Shanae, she's the injured player welfare officer for the Players Fund, which is the chosen charity of the Springboks. And what they do is they look to help people who've been irrevocably injured from playing rugby. And the 2 gentlemen we're raising money for, and we're trying to raise money, as much money as we can, to buy them electric chairs. The 2 gentlemen, one called MJ and one called Mandla. Both of them are now quadriplegics, from one from a scrum injury and one from just a bad tackle. Their lives have been, as you can imagine, irrevocably changed. And the mental toughness that I talk about is absolutely nothing compared with what these gentlemen have lived through and will have to live through going forward. All the help we can give these 2 gentlemen, particularly MJ, who's only 19, and it just means so much. So when it's really cold and when we are swimming through the night, because we're going to have to start this swim at about 9 p.m, swim through the night and then come back the next day, where hopefully we'll finish before sunset the following day. When we do this kind of swim, and when it's 2 a.m. and you just think, what on earth am I doing this for? I'm doing it for MJ and I'm doing it for Mandla. 2 gentlemen who woke up one day, thought they were going to play the game that they loved, got on the pitch, and it all went a bit wrong. And when you're doing it for that, it makes it a little bit easier. So I know you're going to put a link in the chat for donations. Anything is very, very welcome. 10 Rand, 20 Rand, 1,000 Rand, 10,000 Rand. I'd love to say thank you to Ikifin, Hereford, Hampshire. They've all donated significant amounts to help the cause of raising money for wheelchairs for these 2 gentlemen, very brave gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Georgina. Yeah, I think it's such a brilliant cause, and it's definitely something to keep you going, as you said, like in the middle of the night when you wonder, why am I doing this? So thank you very much. I did put the link in the chat, but also it is down in the description. So if anybody wants to do that, we will definitely be doing that. So thank you very much, Georgina. George, we're about to do a live draw here for some books, but before we do, just maybe some final words to leave everybody with today that's maybe on your heart that you want to share.
Oh, thanks, Francois. Yeah, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for the support and the open arms that the South African people have given me over the last 9 years that I've been here, and the journey that I've been on has been so incredible and so well supported, and the interest and the ability to be able to speak on platforms like this about the stuff that I love and having the added benefit that people find it interesting as well is fantastic. So guys, it's just all about consistency, discipline, and just pushing yourself and saying yes to hard stuff. And you'll be amazed by how far it takes you.
Fantastic. George, thank you so much for your time. It was great speaking to you. And we'll see you at Ascend then. Hopefully you're not swimming before Ascend. Where did you say the swim is? I think I missed the date.
November the 5th. Well, sorry. So you're on November the 5th. My window opens November the 1st. It's unlikely it will be on November the 5th, looking ahead at the weather chart. So I think you're safe.
Okay. No, 100%. Thank you so much, George, and keep doing the great stuff. And we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Alrighty, brilliant stuff. So let's do a lucky draw. Let me just get my applause ready to see. We've got 16 people in the draw, as you can see on the screen. You can still join. So hashtag Playbook, if you put that in the chat right now. I mean, there's like more than double that people online watching this live. So if you don't want a book, just go buy the book. But if you do want to stand a chance to win this book and maybe Kobus's book, then do enter your hashtag there in the chat. Right, so I'm about to do the first draw. Here we go. So who's going to win the Financial Advisor Playbook today? Let's see who it is. And it is Greg. There you go. I assume I know which Greg this is. So Greg, please send me a WhatsApp if you don't mind. So I just make sure that I've got the right Greg. So with that, that's our first winner. Well done, Greg. Then next up for one of Kobus's 4 books, you can choose which one. Here we go. I must still get a drum roll. That's the kind of thing that we can play while this is happening. So who is it today? JP. There you go. JP van Heerden. I'll send you the link that you can complete. And if you can please get in touch with me. That will be absolutely fantastic. Alrighty, so ladies and gents, thank you so much. That's it for today's show. We've got some incredible guests coming up, as if Georgina has not been an amazing, incredible guest already. Like, we've got more people coming on. So we also have Mickey Gambale will be on the show. Errol Meyer is coming. Who else? Oh, no, I can't remember. There's some other people as well. But anyway, so it's been a great day. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Stay safe, be blessed and prosper. And raise the ball. Continue to raise the ball. Love you. Bye-bye.